Sion. I mean, it didn't look amazing, but it's still something that they can go for. The engages were a little lackluster from TheShy, missing a few of those ults, but we're going to see Meteor going for that Udyr as the first pick. Rookie immediately can go for this Azir. It's what we've seen time and time again from him. He looks exceptional on the pick, fully every single lane matchup, so it makes a lot of sense to go for that Azir.
Yeah, they're just going to run back the same draft. Pick these here. You probably see the Olaf, or at least the jungler, come in here for Sion. And again, I imagine that IG are going to end up leaving this counter pick for TheShy in that last position, or at least, you know, once they see the way that this draft is teetering out. What it means is IG, you're like, great, winning top side of the map guaranteed, pretty much a winning mid guaranteed with this Azir pick as well. So let's see if we go back towards something like the Samira for IG in this bottom lane once again, or if they want to maybe pick up something for TheShy in these early stages and then ban away some of the BLG top lanes.
Up to the side of BLG then, and they want themselves a safe scaling bottom lane aiming. Grabs himself the Aphelios, and Dway will be on that Thresh. So perhaps this different approach to the bottom lane could garner them a little bit more success in that 2v2.
Okay, so we're actually going to go back towards the Kalista here once again. So happy to just fight fire here in the bot side, as you'll be able to trade super effectively here as Puff and get this nice early game lead for yourselves. And again, try and power home through these very aggressive lane states. This is, again, kind of going back to classic IG, I'll say, with both the last draft and this draft that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, when you think of Puff, though, generally it was the more defensive picks that he liked to go towards, but Lucas has changed. I feel like Lucas has developed this bottom lane this year where Lucas still can play that defensive style, but he's much more willing to go aggressive and play something like that. The Alistar and Rel already banned, though. If you ban away the Leona, it starts to become a little bit more difficult for Lucas to have that impact.
Can still go towards something like the Jarvan, though, that we've seen come out. There's still some of these more funky picks, I'll say, that can be paired with the Kalista. It can still have big impacts. The biggest question mark for me right now is, what does BiuBiu play in this top lane? Because you're looking at, like, okay, if we're going by just the raw statistics of the most played, you're going, okay, well, the Gragas is still open, but most of the other picks have already been banned away. At least BiuBiu still has stuff like the Jace and Gangplank and stuff in his back pocket, but trying to take those and then leave the potential counter pick open for TheShy just seems very dangerous.
Well, that is going to have to happen. TheShy gets his counter pick, unless it's a Kalista top. Let's just remember, TheShy is on this team, Kalista is locked in. It's very possible that Kalista goes to the top lane. I don't want to count that potential out. We are going to see Zeka go back to this Ekko that we saw in game number 1. Didn't work out for him last time, but still a very viable pick. And the Sion goes for BiuBiu, which means now TheShy has his pick of the litter.
Yeah, what does he decide to go towards? I mean, as you say, can kind of go for anything, could even go towards that full split push as we talked about. Won't be Viego, that is not available on this patch. Will hopefully be available in 11.4, but could be the Gragas coming in here. I mean, it's basically just going tank for tank, and you will provide a decent amount of front line for a squad here. So IG going back towards this kind of full team fight style. We'll have to see how TheShy operates, though, on this Gragas, because, of course, as you said, like, trying to play these frontliners that buy space for your team has not been the forte of TheShy for the majority of his career, certainly not recently either. So this is kind of a new foray for him, and seeing if he can actually make these plays work.
Yeah, it feels like we've got two pretty drastically different compositions here, with IG very much leaning towards fighting in clustered up groups, whereas BLG, when you look at this composition, like, Zeka wants to be in a side lane realistically, and Sion's quite happy to sit in a side lane and clear waves as well, so you could definitely operate as more of a 1-3-1 or a 1-4 on the side of BLG.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to have the Sion with your team here, but certainly I agree with you for the Zeka point. Zeka wants to be in a side lane, and if he can find these nice flanks, you know, put pressure on towards Puff in the back line, try and find these nice routes on towards Rookie. Like, if you can draw out these Emperor's Divides early, you buy so much more space for the Sion and Udyr and everything else to work. But I'm still worried. I mean, after the last game, the flank opportunities for Zeka were kind of next to none. The team fight setup wasn't quite there for BLG either. And especially when this bot lane was just losing out so hard to this Kalista in the AD carry role, they need to find some way of shoring up that defense there, whether it's Meteor getting involved or not, to make sure they're not just falling behind as BLG here.
Yeah, we're going to see a little bit of pizzazz in the early game coming out from BLG, not to allow IG to get ahead like this last game. But I'm also going to be looking towards those Drakes, because we have an Udyr and an Olaf. Both of these junglers love to stack those Drakes up. But with, you know, a Kalista in the bottom side and with an Azir in the mid lane, maybe that could go the way of IG. But one thing I'll say about the Aphelios, if you've got the Infernum, you certainly can fight from Pride.
We'll have to see if Amy and Dwayne can have a better time this time around as we go in towards our second game.
We go on Summoner's Rift. Hit me with them gyos. All right. Now we got that out of the way anyway. Got that out of the system. Puff, going to be on the bottom side of the map. Not surprising, really. As an AD carry player, this is quite a common trend we've been seeing, that AD carries will go to that bottom lane. It's a trend that we've seen now for... You know? Well, that's true, that's true. going on 10 years of this trend at this point. I'm wondering if it'll ever get old.
Well, didn't they used to have AD carries in the mid lane? Wasn't it like...
Ash mid was a thing, right, but that was like... I think that was more like beta as opposed to season 1. The kind of Ash mid with teleport where you'd ult. You could ult from the base and then TP to a minion mid. The ult lands, gives you the full 5-second stun, and you just kill them while they're stunned. That was peak League of Legends right there.
That's it as far as the strategy went back then, but we've kind of evolved a bit from now, and now I gotta start worrying about like where jungle pathing and engages and everything else are. As Lucas tries to get on towards Jay in the bot side, does a fairly decent job of getting the trade and will guarantee the push, but Zeka doing a much better job this time around of finding those opportunities to dive aggressively onto Rookie.
Rookie's level 2 though, and that means Zeka's gotta get out of there and stop this trade, because it's no longer working out for him. The minion advantage very heavily in favor of Rookie, and the health advantage as well. Final corrupting potion has been used by Zeka, but the same can be said for Rookie's health bots. It does feel like Zeka's going to struggle to find an opportunity to go for an all-in unless there's some kind of jungle intervention, but you just know that Meteor, he's got to go for his clear, he's got to get through this jungle before he can really look towards the middle.
Yeah, especially if Meteor starts showing now, it just gives so much control towards Sion. And with Rookie having full control of mid, easily able to get a double scuttle, or at least punish the fact that Meteor isn't just trying to full clear his camp. So, unfortunately for Zeka, he's just got to take the beating at the moment. And it looks like Rookie's not going to let up as well. Like, mana flow bans and also having the access to the Taste of Blood in the Ravenous Hunter means he's pretty healthy, and he's just going to keep poking all day long.
Oh, aiming is in trouble. The Rend comes through and the first blood is there for Puff. That is the decisive gameplay we've come to expect from IG.
Mate, especially this IG bot lane, we hadn't expected it previously, right? IG's bot lane was by far their weakest part of the map, but with Lucas coming into this roster, they have looked absolutely incredible, and Puff, separated from Southwind, is actually looking way, way better now with this Rookie support. Great engage here from Lucas, and unfortunately for Amy, takes a step too far forward. Dwayne not really in a position to get the flay in the right direction to buy space for aiming, and it means that they can get that kill.
Rookie going a little aggressive there. You can see Shun waiting in the wings of that, waiting for the bait to come on through as Meteor ganks onto this top side. TheShy does have his flash available, but he's getting real low. Flashes, but it's way too late. And just gets taken down. I'm kind of surprised that he went for the flash that late on into the play.
Yeah, I think you just accept your fate in that case. You don't try and or at least burn the flash, because honestly, you hadn't even got the flash out of Meteor or BiuBiu. If they really wanted to, they could have just followed up on that play, but Either way, you get the kill, you get the flash, and now you've got a lane here as BLG that you can try to put some pressure on. But realistically, I think Meteor here needs to start trying to help out this bot lane, because if Amy and Jue completely fall off, again, we're going to see the same issues as last time, where your main source of damage for killing TheShy, killing Shun, is going to be way behind in items, and especially as a late game Aphelios, that's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, that's it's really rough as Aphelios. If you fall behind in the early game, it feels like you can't have any impact in the game until you get a couple of items. If you're even though, or if you manage to get mildly ahead, Aphelios feels so oppressive. So maybe Meteor getting down into that bottom side could set them up for success, especially when we mentioned that both of these junglers would love to focus on Drakes this game. First one is now on the map. Both junglers are on the bottom half of the map right now.
But you can see there with the full control that IG have, they aren't going to be letting this dragon go across the BLG. BLG managed to sneak one in the last game, but I'd be very surprised if they get it this time. Although Zeka doing a good job of trading on towards Rookie here.
Yeah, good bit of damage down going to Rookie, but as you say, IG move towards this Drake and BLG. Nothing that they can do to contest this one. No plays on the opposite side of the map. It's just going to be Meteor clearing his jungle away, but Shun was already even in terms of camps, and so now they get to move into this bottom side of the jungle, get some deep vision down on the side of IG. Feels like everything is going their way right now.
Definitely. And I mean, as you say, like being able to spot out where Meteor is, they can actually use the advantages that they have on their side as well to push in this wave, or at least control the wave state, look for early backs, unlock Lucas to go towards the likes of this Rift Herald on the top side of the map as well. Like, you can do a lot of work here as Puff and Lucas just off these small advantages that you've picked up and snowball this lead out of control. I will say though, shining light for BLG is certainly Zeka. He's doing way better in this matchup in the mid lane. Finding these effective trades has been wonderful, but also not being fully committed to the starting items we talked about means that Rocket Belt will come online a little bit faster, and he can have a much bigger impact earlier in the game than what we saw in the last time.
That is beautiful to see. IG responding to the potential tower dive and keeping TheShy safe. We saw in the pre-game interview, Shun said, look, if Meteor goes topside, I'm going to be TheShy's bodyguard, and we get to see exactly that before our eyes. Rookie moving up as well, and BLG realize that there is no play to be made.
Meteor, though, will be able to steal away these Raptors, just pushing off of the fact that Zeka had got a nice little bit of control in mid. Now looking for Rookie.
Are we just going to BM IG like that? We just run a graphic, hey, IG, 10,000 deaths. The worst in the LPL. Let's go. Congrats, IG, on dying 10,000 times, I guess.
The real question is how many of them are TheShy? That's the real question.
About 9,000, I would wager.
There you go.
As he takes a couple of painful trades. This doesn't feel like a very good matchup for Gragas.
No, it's not working out too hot for him. TheShy has a couple of times now opted into like these weird picks where he's just actually counter-picked himself. So I feel like we're kind of seeing a similar style here.
Yeah, Shun's moving up, and he's been spotted now, but it's way too late. BiuBiu looking for an avenue to get his ult off, or to just 1v1 TheShy, who's low on HP. He's not the Aatrox this time, and he goes down to BiuBiu. Shun will at least answer. Well, that's fantastic news for BiuBiu. Now an all-in the bottom side. Puff going to be exhausted, has to cleanse to keep himself safe, pulls his support in, and will dodge away from the Q from aiming. Nicely done by the IG bot lane to survive the play, because Meteor is here as well. No Herald, but they should be able to at least grab a couple of plays.
So I have an update on TheShy. TheShy is 11% of those deaths. Which is kind of insane when you think about how long IG has been around.
Yeah, I think
that's a lot of deaths.
That's the really important thing to bear in mind in this. This is IG historically all time in the LPL. This is an organization that's been in the LPL for what is it, 8 years,
Since
7 years, something like that.
2011.
Yeah, so
yeah,
like that is an insane proportion of those deaths to have 11% from TheShy. Oh dear, you love to see it. This is why we love him, you know. He is, when he wants to be, one of the best top laners in the world. And then other times, he full sends. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, look, there's either way, he's going to be on Gragas. These deaths suck, but honestly, getting gold on towards BiuBiu and getting gold on towards Meteor isn't going to be the end of the day here for IG. Like, you've still got multiple ways of getting through these big old tanks, especially with the likes of Rookie. Puff, unfortunately, with the changes to Kalista and not having access to Blade of the Rune King, won't be as good at getting through them, so it will be a lot on Rookie to try and make sure that he's able to solidify those damage points against these major tanks, but they'll be fine.
Oh, Zeka forced under the tower, forced to use his ulti to keep himself safe. Trying to go for the trade against Rookie, but Rookie punishes him very aggressively there. And TheShy now playing this top lane matchup, despite the fact that he's died twice, playing it very, very far up the lane. But realistically, the big lead we've got to talk about is in that bottom side of the map. We see that control ward paying dividends for Lucas as he managed to get that so deep. And Meteor will be spotted out as he moves towards his Krugs.
Looks like they want to try and make a play on bot side with Jue, but unfortunately for them, I mean, IG know this is happening. This is also buying time for Shun, who does have that Rift Herald. I wouldn't be surprised to see him potentially use that on this bottom side of the map, get more gold in favor of Puff, and try and get this Kalista into a nice mid-game point.
Yeah, I think the next thing, though, on the chopping block is going to be this Drake that just spawned onto the map. IG got the first one. Meteor has stepped too far forward, forced to flash. Now TP being channeled by Zeka to get into this fight. Arrives, but it's a little too late. Nobody goes down from IG. And it's a TP committed by BLG. Do IG still commit to this Drake? I don't think that they're going to contest on this one. Looks like they're happy to just give this one over. BLG will finish the Drake off, and now IG want to fight after the fact, apparently. Lucas tanking up the damage as Puff starts to wind up those stacks on towards Meteor. First kill of the fight will finally go down to Puff as he gets the Ren. Moonlight Vigil across the team. Shun very low. Flash forward. Coming out. The roots available from Gravitum. That's one kill going the way of our Ekko here. Rookie got a kill somewhere on the map. I didn't quite see where that one was as BLG... BiuBiu, sorry, up against TheShy, getting real low. This was pure chaos, honestly.
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place, but hey, either way, Dragon going the way of but hang on, was TheShy going for this?
I'm not sure. I'm never really sure when it comes to TheShy. I think BiuBiu should be able to survive. He'll have his shield up available in a second. TheShy's just trying to make sure he's in range for that turret plate, importantly. But let's highlight Zeka here. Manages to get a kill in that fight. Manages to go even in CS. It feels like he's having a much better game 2 than he did game 1.
Yeah, and we highlighted that at the start, right? He's taking much better trades against Rookie, and it's starting to pay dividends now. Hextech Alternator picked up means he's able to solo out Rookie at the top side of this fight, and there's very little Rookie could do. Of course, as we saw earlier, that Emperor's Divide was burned, so the cooldown from that Ekko ult being up a little bit faster and being able to use that effectively as Zeka. Here, though, this was a bit of an overextension. They do get the kill onto Shun, but Rookie just over the wall is just pop. All right. I'll take Dwayne. I'll take the Thresh. We go 1 for 1 there. That's all good. And either way now, 2 kills now for Puff in this bottom lane. Kills for Rookie in this mid lane as well. And these damage dealers for IG getting a little bit scary as we start to move forward. Especially though, as we look towards the Rift Herald about to time out for Shun. He could use it to get a little bit more for Rookie in this mid, and he will just get it down.
Got it just in time. They'll shove this wave in. They'll guarantee at least 2 plates for themselves. Importantly as well, that Dragon fight was actually a 2 for 1 in favor of IG because they did get the pick onto Meteor to start that fight off. So nicely done there by IG to get 2 kills, but they did lose the Drake. They were late on the play ultimately. Rookie playing this one a little dicily, but we'll jump away to his soldiers. Lucas hooked in. Here we go with the fight. You see Shun just running into the back line. He's doing so much work to finish off that Aphelios. Dwayne incredibly low. Puff trying to close the gap as well to finish these kills off. It looks like BLG will get away with that one. Zeka on the back line here. Wants to punish onto Puff, but the Hail of Blades will do a lot of damage onto Zeka, who jumps away to his ulti. Now TP from TheShy as these fights are infinite. In fact, it's Rookie that came in. It wasn't TheShy. TheShy's already here. Zeka forced over the wall. BiuBiu going to be kicked out of the fight as well. Flashes out to safety. The Ren stacks not quite enough to finish the kill there. Just gets through the shield. And it's a lot of action for not many kills here, Dagda.
And no objective either. Like, this was just, hey, we're taking the fisticuffs. You put up, we put up. And as BLG, they ain't ready to put up. because Aiming is not in a position where he's actually able to have these big standout team fights. Kraken Slayer only completed on that reset. Same with Zeka, like he hasn't got the Hextech Rocket Belt completed yet. This is when Ekko becomes really strong. So as IG, you're just playing off the fact you've got the Immortal Shield Bow completed. Shun is a monster as well, chasing down onto Aiming. Like, the entire fight here by BLG is spent running away as Zeka is forced out of the fight as well. There's just nothing here for BLG to win.
That was a beautiful ult from Rookie, knocking Zeka like max distance over that wall, so he has to run all the way around. Very nicely done. Wave will crash in this bottom side. Aiming needs to be careful here, as his Thresh to save him. Joy moving over, but Lucas is here. Solar Flare not going to be used. They don't commit to the fight just yet. Just going to deny as much CS as they can, as Puff will get onto this tower and start to get some hits in. It's 5-4 on the scoreline. It feels like the kills are a lot lower than you'd expect with the amount of fighting that's happened this game, but I think we might have another fight on our hands anyway here, Dagda, because there are 4 people bot for IG. They're going to make the dive happen. In onto Aiming they go, and he is eradicated. Now onto Jway as they close the gap, but Shun cannot be slowed by your box. You didn't put enough tape on, and they're not going to send it. Now 7-4 on the scoreboard. Both bot laners from BLG fall, and there's nothing BLG can do about it.
This is confidence from IG, and I love how effective Rookie's been in this mid lane and pushing in that wave and moving. He read brilliantly there that Zeka was pathing down towards that bottom side, especially when he saw Meteor trying to collect that wave in mid. So Rookie just gets first move advantage and turns that play again in favor of IG with the numbers. So brilliant stuff from IG. And unfortunately for Aiming, he's got nearly as much gold as those supports right now. He is not having a fun time, and God, this Aphelios pick is not paying off.
Yeah, I mean, picking the Aphelios to be kind of that weak side bot lane, if you will, but when you've got a TheShy on top, it kind of just means you have 2 weak sides. So now Aiming, he's weak side mid lane as well. He's weak side wherever he goes. And he's consistently just dead. 0-4 on the Aphelios. This will be another Drake for IG. Dagda, I'm starting to get deja vu. This is starting to feel like game 1 all over again.
And I've actually been a big fan of Aiming. It's kind of heartbreaking to see him end up like this, where every time IG have managed to punish him, Puff and Lucas have been so strong in this bottom side, and Jway coming into the team, like day 1 he looks splendid. The rest of the series have been a little bit hit or miss, and this time around Aiming Jway just have not been able to get the best of Lucas and Puff, and it's really hurting BLG.
Hey, remember when Azir could hit W on towers to absolutely shred them?
Yeah.
That was kind of insane, wasn't it? Just think how good Azir still is without that ability. And that used to be a part of his kit. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a little bit silly. Fight over this scuttle. We're basically on the same boat here, where we're kind of waiting for IG's next move now. Because when Rift Herald up, you expect that we're going to get some action as TheShy. Nice belly bop there to stop the stun coming through.
Yeah, Zeka, I don't know if he can really take this fight as TheShy is just going to force him to stay in the play. But Chrono Break repositions him back out of the skirmish. Zeka, though, being one of the highlight players on the side of BLG and not being able to really operate in a side lane against this Gragas, that's a really rough situation for BLG to be in.
And especially as we talked about with Meteor and BiuBiu being the ones that actually got the gold, and Zeka as well, you just don't have the opportunity to push out in these side lanes. Your weak mid lane essentially being covered by Aiming is not going to be enough, as a collapse from IG is onto top side.
BiuBiu, where are you going, buddy? That's the wrong side of the map. That's not where you run away. He's just going to try and run them around. He will get the recall off in the end, because, I mean, let's be honest, they can't exactly chase him. They're cowards, as he so aptly said. But now, tier 2 at the top side. I feel like BLG are just unaware of their top side towers.
They're trading their inhibitor again for mid. What is this?
This is just... This isn't how macro's meant to work, Dagda. This isn't it. I remember the start of spring 2020, BLG were like the super smart team. This is the team where they're going to just play perfect macro every game, and it's going to be beautiful. Then across 2020, that reputation kind of tarnished itself very significantly. And now in 2021, 2 games in a row, they trade 2 towers on the top side minimum, plus a charge on the inhib this time. It was an inhib tower last time for a tier 2 on the bottom side. Like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, at least this time they had BiuBiu there to stop the inhibitor turret going in. I actually thought that IG might just fully commit to taking that objective. But the problem is that, like, it's not like BLG are trying to slow down the pace of this game, right? There's an opportunity there for BiuBiu to try and hold that wave in place, create a slow push, try and find an opportunity where he shoves out that wave eventually top side, right as Dragon is spawning. You get the numbers advantage, or you're just burning a whole bunch of gold in towards IG's topside turret. But instead, they're just like shoving out waves. Now they're trying to contest into the jungle where, I mean, IG are perfectly happy to fight you here. They are so damn strong, and it means that there's very little wiggle room for Meteor, BiuBiu, Zeka to actually threaten the backline.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult for the side of BLG. And, like, you know, Meteor is probably your strongest player right now on BLG. But, I mean, he's tank Udyr. What can he do? He can run in and get a stun. But as the copy pasta suggests, job's done. That's all he's got. He doesn't get to do anything else because he's playing Udyr. And now into the fight we go. Charge from BiuBiu. They found their moment. I was totally wrong. He can find kills onto Rookie is exactly what he can do. Shun forced out of the play. Chrono break into the middle of everyone. Puff is still alive right now, but not for long as he explodes from the shield of BiuBiu. There's going to be 3 kills, and they found a hook on TheShy as well. BLG have found their way back into this game. Can you believe it, Dagda? They've got themselves a Baron.
Somehow, BiuBiu ends up with the perfect flank on towards IG, and even with Flash and everything else up, Rookie doesn't get away. And with Rookie down, Puff is the lone carry in these fights, and it makes it a hell of a lot easier for Zeka to target him, take him down, and BLG will get this Baron. Well played by this squad to come back into this game.
I mean, BiuBiu with the perfect ulti here, hitting multiple members. Rookie denied on his shuffle as well. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and if you'd been able to get away there as Rookie, maybe this fight is different from IG. They can kite up into this choke point, use the Emperor's Divide to stop BLG from continuing, and suddenly we're going, BLG, what are you doing? But with Rookie not being able to dash away, they are able to take this fight. Now IG steal away the dragon, but BLG are here.
Yeah, that's 3 Drakes for them. But this time, IG are grouped up as a 5, and you're fighting into Azir in a choke point. That is a beautiful cast coming in. Rookie keeps Zeka away from the play. BiuBiu goes down alone here. And that's just not a fight that BLG could afford to take.
Now, that is not the play. That was it. That's what could have happened if Rookie was able to escape away from the last fight. You can see basically gatekeeping these choke points is exactly how IG's composition works. With barrels going in, we've got the Emperor's Divide to stop Amin and Zeka actually having an impact, and BiuBiu just gets separated.
It's a rough situation for BLG. But the thing is about that play, right? You've lost the Drake. You can kind of accept that you've lost the Drake in that situation, but you've got Baron. Go take some towers. Why are you trying to team fight IG at this point? You got to pick in that last team fight, but like, surely the play right here is to play on the side lanes and try and get towers, not just force a fight.
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, look, they're trying to do it now. I think they just kind of were riding high off the fact they'd won that last team fight. Now, this is pretty big for Zeka getting the Baron, because as you can see, it's really difficult for Rookie to deal with him in a side lane. He's got to back it up, and he can't clear out these Baron minions as effectively. So BLG, at least now, have some semblance of control in this top side of the map, and will buy some time for aiming to get some much needed gold, try and get this Infinity Edge completed, and have an impact in these team fights.
Another thing I just remembered about old Azir, his E also used to be like a mini knockup if you hit onto anyone.
Yeah.
Just think how much stuff got removed from Azir's kit, and he's still like a really strong champion. It's actually insane.
You're really annoyed by Azir.
I'm just like remembering how insanely, and he still has like the best passive in the game, or at least one of. Here we go. Hook comes through onto Shun. He's got Ragnarok, so he's fine, but probably shouldn't have really been walking that close by himself. TheShy and BiuBiu going at it once more. Tanks in the top lane having a wet noodle fight, but BiuBiu has slightly drier noodles, so he wins out the brawl.
would the drier noodles not break faster?
No, but they're harder. Wet noodles are
Yeah, but they're brittle, right?
useless. They're delicious but useless, you know? You can't find someone with noodles, Dagda. That's the whole point of the phrase. Hard noodles. Because people refer to just pasta as noodles. So it's like spaghetti. Imagine if I had a wad of dry spaghetti and you had a wad of wet spaghetti. Who's going to win that fight? Me, 100% of the time. Even if we were disarmed, me 100% of the time. I'll take you any day, Dagda.
I feel like the wet spaghetti would end up breaking the dry spaghetti. I mean, maybe then it becomes like a little shiv. Maybe
I can
that's
tell you
where,
about Italian, that's for sure.
I don't know. Look, ask me about a different type of potato. I'm your man. Italian, not so certain.
All right, copy that. What's your favorite type of potato, Dagda?
They're actually from my hometown, Rush Roosters. You weren't expecting me to have an answer for that, were you?
I was. It's just my feed isn't great right now, and I didn't hear what you said, so I was just gonna move on.
Oh, okay.
Roosters.
Roosters. They're great. Either way, though, okay. I'll take over from the game and get us away from anything we can boil, mash, or stick in a stew. IG. Now, with the minute until this dragon, it is a Cloud Soul, not the end of the world. Honestly, it works a lot better for many of the members on BLG's end of things, but still would be pretty nice for the likes of Olaf and even TheShy. And it looks like BLG, at least in a position now to fight. Unfortunately, though, still missing that crucial Infinity Edge on towards Amy. He's only managed to get a stopwatch to add towards his inventory, whereas we're looking at almost 3 items across the board here for IG's side. So unless you can have some sort of miracle fight again where you get this big engage from BiuBiu or Meteor to stun up Puff or Rookie and just clean out one of these carries quickly, I don't see an opportunity here for BLG to really fight.
Well, they disagree based on the positioning, Dagda. They want to fight on this one. Meteor gonna get knocked away and knocked into the squad here. He has to flash out to safety, but that should mean with the jungler's flash now on cooldown, Drake's up in 30 seconds. That should be a pretty big advantage for IG as they take control of the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure that Zeka doesn't just have an easy route in towards the backline. However, Shun and Puff are pretty separated from the rest of the team.
Lucas is moving up. IG are just not afraid of BLG, are they, with this kind of positioning? Shun now going to be aggressed upon. Still has the Ragnarok available, as BLG will wrestle mid-priority for themselves. But IG are like, look, we're happy to lose 6 minions. We're just going to take the Drake if that happens. Onto the Drake they go, starting this one off as BLG don't really have an easy way in, aside from BiuBiu just throwing himself at IG face first. The Rend is stacking up. Here comes BiuBiu, but Azir says no. Rookie denies everything once again. And now IG onto the fight. Zeka into the back line, but he has to just jump away immediately. Udyr falls, and now goes the rest of the squad as well. Give over the triple because Shun is on the scene. And Lucas is looking to chase Zeka down. Chrono Break on cooldown. Somehow that Zenith Blade lands over the wall, and it's TheShy to pick up the 5th. And guess where they happen to have finished the fight on the map? The Baron is just laying in wait for them.
It's the escort mission to both objectives, Munch, and IG will happily claim this one. Again, brilliant team fighting coming out. Rookie denying so much, and IG are looking firmly in command of this game once again.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy, says IG. It's going to be the Baron taken down. It's going to be a mid-tier 2 taken down. There are only 4 towers remaining on the map outside of just the Nexus towers for BLG. It's a 6,000 gold lead. It's a Baron. It's a Dragon Soul. It feels like it's a done deal for IG.
And you can see here, I love TheShy taking this top position here, making sure that Zeka has to fight front to back. So when BiuBiu goes for this engage and Rookie can deny it, it becomes so much more difficult for Zeka to have that big impact. You can see both carries and IG instantly turning onto the Ekko, forcing him away and buying all this space for IG to turn this fight. Very well played by multiple members of IG.
Zeka just able to catch on to... Lucas just able to catch on to Zeka there at the very end of the fight, snaking over the wall and grabbing the extra kill. Now, bot lane tier 2 will be taken, and onto the inhibs IG go. They've gained 2,000 gold already in this Baron power play. Mid tower goes down. BiuBiu trying to tank up. This is a 4v4 right here as the top laners come on in. You can see Zeka has TP to the back line. but he's not there just yet. He's a bit late to the play. In goes TheShy. They're trying to finish these kills off before Zeka gets in. Lucas trying to zone him away. Rookie's finally arrived as well. It's pure chaos, but IG thrive in the chaos. This is their comfort zone. TheShy hooked in, but he dashes out. Gets himself a little bit of a heal. The mid inhib has fallen. And IG, they just want one inhib this game because they're onto the Nexus towers instead. Aiming still down right here. Rookie pushing away Zeka, dashing off to safety himself. And now onto the towers they go once more. First tower taken down, but BLG hold fast for now. Zeka has to be careful. In goes Lucas once more. The recall TP from Rookie to get back into the play. BiuBiu falls. Dwayne knocked up, will be taken down. Puff with a double kill as he looks for a little bit more inside the base. Meteor trying to get onto the fountain, as is Zeka. But there's just nothing they can do to stop this one. Rookie finishes the tower. The Nexus is bare. Can they finish it off though? Because aiming has returned to the fight. Now Zeka trying to get onto Puff, but it's Puff going onto Zeka instead. Forced away from this one. Meteor closes the gap. Rookie's just on the Nexus, aiming solo and help, but IG don't want to end the game. They want to show that you don't.
You know, getting towards the end of the split, IG suddenly start to teeter towards the top of the table once again. And we have to see as the remaining games go, if they can reach the higher heights and contest for our upper levels of playoffs.
Yeah, this felt like a little bit of a better performance as well from TheShy on a tank, like being able to operate a little bit better in these team fights. His ults certainly were pretty great across the game. Had some nice combos on the Gragas. BLG, unfortunately, not really able to match up this time. A lot to be desired there. And it felt like it's the age-old story, right, of IG just getting this huge advantage in the laning phase, and then you get to the mid-game fights, and it's like, unless you're finding a really, really advantageous position, which BLG did one time, if you remember, and they got the Baron off the back of it, you're just not going to be able to win the 5v5.
Yeah, and I think that was the big issue here, was just the team fighting from BLG had nothing in the tank. Like, you kind of got there, and with Amy being so far behind, there was no real damage coming out from this Aphelios. Yeah, Zeka can try his best, but it's so difficult for him to get into these team fights. He's got so much CC to deal with, even the knockbacks coming through from the Azir. And he's a single target damaged, right? He's not going to be able to deal with Puff and this Azir, and then the front line, and everything else that's coming in on this IG side. So, unfortunately, a lot of the crux of the issues for BLG rested in trying to get this bottom side ahead, but Meteor had put all his focus in towards BiuBiu. And you can see, yeah, BiuBiu did a decent amount of damage, but when your Sion is the highest damage dealer on your team, there's a lot of problems here.
Yeah, not ideal. Obviously, BiuBiu was trading all through the laning phase, so that's certainly not a criticism to BiuBiu. It's more of a, okay, well, aiming, you didn't play the game. You didn't get to do anything all game long. He was just constantly getting dived, getting 2v2'd in the laning phase, and then Rookie and Shun consistently moving down to that bottom lane to make sure that aiming never got a fair shout at performing in this game.
No, they wanted to make sure there was absolutely no way that there was going to be any issues coming from this Aphelios, because there is a world where if Amian ends up getting ahead, that hey, TheShy, Shun, Lucas, they're all jumping in on top of him. You got Dre to buy space, and they just tear through them. But with Meteor surprisingly not really paying much attention towards this bottom side, Amy and Dre were left on their lonesome, and Puff and Lucas with this hyper-aggressive bottom lane were happy to take these 2v2 trades, happy to get the ball rolling. And you can even see Shun and Rookie putting a lot of eggs in the bot lane basket as well, with moving and down towards this bottom side, ensuring that they could get the early towers, the early plates, and be set up to go for these aggressive team fights.
Yeah, really, really nicely done by IG at the end of the day. And I love that the damage between the top 4 members on the team was so even as well. It feels like a team victory for them. And especially with how chaotic and long some of these fights were, there was a few situations there it was like, oh, maybe BLG can take this. But one thing was consistent throughout this game, and that was that at the start of the fight, aiming is dead. Like, we saw them diving in the early game. We saw them diving in the mid game. We didn't even see a late game. Like, but every single team fight, no matter what, like, even at the end, IG could end the game. But Rookie makes sure that they kill aiming first. They make sure that aiming does not get to have any fun today. And I just think that's kind of hilarious, I mean, honestly.
What's the point of winning if you don't send a message, right? And honestly, I kind of felt sorry for you in a lot of these fights, because especially that last one, it just kept going and going and going. I was like, Much needs a breath, but him, just like IG managed to power through it. And at the end of it, I think this is a very good sign for IG. Like, the fact that we've got Puff and Lucas now coming into the fold of, hey, these are a dominant bot lane. Like, the 3 separate lanes of IG are all pretty fearsome. We kind of enter a very similar territory to top esports, where Shun doesn't have to have these massive impacts in the early game. He can try and play a much more controlling style and just let TheShy win out, let Rookie win out, now have Lucas and Puff win out. And suddenly this becomes a very scary IG, because certainly when they do get a lead, IG are incredible when it comes towards their map movement, how they position waves, how quickly they can snowball off of just early advantages that their tempo gives them. So I think this is now where we're starting to see maybe a new breed of Invictus Gaming and a much scarier IG from what we saw last year.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing though is like, God, IG, what is going on? You 2-0 EDG, you lose handily to Suning, and now you come and destroy BLG. Like, which one is it? Pick one. You can't just be the best and worst team in the LPL simultaneously. You got to pick one of them, okay? Like, this isn't fair on everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, look, it keeps it interesting, right? Where you never know what you're going to get, but that's kind of the problem that we have. And even when we look at TheShy in the top lane, right, it has kind of been the duality of man, the duality of TheShy, duality of Invictus Gaming, where we don't know exactly what to expect. Some games Rookie looks amazing, like in this. Other times there's just games where Rookie has on Twisted Fate gets camped and ends up giving over 4, 5, 6 kills. And this is where we really need to see that consistency come forward, where it doesn't have to rely on, hey, I've just gotten that advantage. It is cool that you can do that, but I definitely want to see a little bit more control coming through from IG, specifically when it comes towards vision and trying to make sure that they can actually understand where people are. Now, we did see it this game, like Lucas getting that deep ward against Meteor really shut down a lot of those early Udyr plays and bought a lot of space, especially for this bottom side of the map. But yeah, I think I want to see a little bit more of that.
Well, our MVP that game is going to go the way of Shun, who was able to control the game very handedly his opponent in Meteor 9-3-8. He got himself a triple kill, I'm pretty sure, in one of those fights as well. Great Olaf game coming out from him, and importantly, able to control those dragons in the early stages of the game. That's his 5th MVP now as well. So really, really great game, and it's good to see Shun performing as well, because if you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about Shun versus Bo as the two rookie LDL junglers coming in that were really hyped up. And it felt like Bo was definitely on the winning end of that conversation. But Shun, the longer we've been in this split, the more he's come into his own.
Certainly. And I think that obviously comes with time. As a rookie, you need that space and need that moment to actually grow, but he looked incredible in this game. You can see this play where he just runs straight towards Amy in the backline. It's like, I don't care what else happens in this fight, as long as I get aiming down, we win. And that was kind of the game plan from the get-go. Every single time I was like, right, I'm jumping onto a carry here, I'm shutting people down. And for someone who has been struggling, we said kind of, look, he's an Italy player. Okay, now he's got the fallback of the Lilia. At least now we're starting to see him look way more comfortable on picks just outside of these AP junglers.
Yeah, feels real good for Shun. And it feels like he's willing to just play whatever is going to work for the composition. Because, like, I think one thing that is understated about Shun is coming into this series, like, his most played are Nidalee and Lilia, right? Lilia with 7 games already. And Lilia was available for him to play in this series, opting away from what's just most comfortable for him and instead going for what is going to work for the team. And I think that's an admirable trait to have in your jungler. But it's time to go over to the stage. Going to kick it over to Wendy once more as we've got a little winners interview with Puff, the new AD carry on IG.